Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking all about how to actually hit 100 grand per month in sales and pure commissions. We're going to be talking numbers, we're going to be data, sales process, sales skills, strategies, just everything that you would need in order to actually hit those numbers in today's market. Now, there have been a lot of people, shouldn't even say a lot, there's been a few people who have actually hit 100K a month consistently in past markets, but I'm finding it more and more rare to do it nowadays, whether it be just because the market isn't the same, the leads aren't the same, whether it be because the businesses aren't run the same, whatever it might be. There's a few different reasons. I won't go into them today, but it's becoming increasingly difficult. But I do still have some students who are doing it, and I of course did it myself. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we're going about doing it and what you need to know in order to do it yourself. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Pleasure to have you. My name is Christian Jack, and all we talk about on this channel is mastering the skill of sales. All right, mastering sales, communication, influence, persuasion, etc. And if you're returning, it's an honor to have you. Thank you so much for coming back. I've got another banger for you here today. All right, so when we're talking about hitting 100 grand a month in commissions, it's a feat. All right, it's not easy. It doesn't just happen willy-nilly. It's not just going to happen for anybody. And if you've been in any sort of sales role for any amount of time, you probably know this yourself. Maybe you've hit 15, 20, 30, even 40 pretty willy-nilly, just working hard, up-leveling your sales skills. You've joined a couple of programs, whatever. That will get you a certain way there. But the other part, there's a big gap. Right? Imagine I know somebody who made 40K last month who was taking about 12 to 15 hours of calls per day. If you want to go from 40 to 100 grand a month without really changing, maybe you up level your skill set a little bit, but you don't really change the process. You don't change, the way that you run the company, the business of you, etc. Then you're going to have to work like, what is that? 150% more hours in order to do that. So like if you're already doing 15 hours a day, 150% more hours is 42 hours a day, which there are literally not even that many in a day, unless you're Ed Milet. So it's literally impossible to be able to hit 100 grand a month just by doing that. So you might be thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, makes sense, but what do I actually do in order to hit those sorts of numbers? So I'm going to walk you through, there's three main areas that you need to focus on, all right? Number one is offer, number two is process, and number three is skill, okay? If you have those three things, you'll probably be fine. Now, in terms of the offer, what you want to find is you want to find something that has leverage, all right? Now, I know a lot of people talk about leverage, but in sales, leverage happens in a few different ways, all right? Number one is the price of the thing that you're selling. All right, very, very put simply, if you're selling something that's more expensive, then you make more money per hour generally. All right, generally, not always. If everything else is the same, like marketing is the same, show up rates are the same, everything else is the same, number of follow-ups, number of calls that you need in order to close a deal is the same, then yes, if you sell a more expensive thing, then you will make more commissions. Shocking. But usually that's not the case, all right? So what we need to do is we need to go through the offer and find something that potentially has more money in it. Number two thing that we need to find out with the offer is the marketing and the funnel leading up to the sales call. How good is it? Is it cold? Is it warm? If it's cold, how warm do the prospects get before the call? How nurtured are they? How much information have they gotten from the company to understand who we are, what we do, how we help people, our results? How aware are they of their problem, of the solutions, of the product, of the company? Like all that sort of stuff needs to be done. If I have somebody coming on my call for Amazon FBA who doesn't know what FBA even is, then like that is maybe not as good of an offer as maybe a less expensive offer where everybody comes onto the call handing me their credit card, right? So one does not equal the other. You need to make sure that you're not having attribution error in this, that you know exactly where the pitfalls are and where the good things are of each offer that you're on. So price point is number one on offer. Marketing is number two on the offer. Number three is going to be management, okay? Management. When you are going for 100 grand a month in commissions, you need managers who are actually going to either seriously help you get there, who understand how to help you get there, or leave you the fuck alone. All right, one or the two. There's very rarely anything in between, okay? I had offers where the manager knew that I was going for that number, and so they were helping me in some way. They were training me, they were pushing me, They were inspiring me day to day. They were giving me better leads, like whatever it might be. And then there were other offers where I just didn't attend a single meeting. I was ghost. I never talked to the manager except like once a week. I'd send them a message, be like, hey, things are going good. Just wanted to let you know so that you know what's going on. Because payments would just come through the channel and they would just leave me the fuck alone, which is great. Either one, I don't particularly care. I personally do well being pushed. So if I have somebody over my shoulder telling me like, Christian, you can do fucking better, get your shit together, I'll do great. You can't push me hard enough. So either one of those is great, but usually in between starts to get a little bit messy. So you want to have a manager who's one or the other. So that's management. Number 4 then is the commission structure. All right, the commission structure. This is super important, and I think a lot of people just kind of like take it at face value for whatever the company usually does. But if you are somebody who wants to hit 100 grand a month, you cannot do what everybody else usually does. All right, you need to negotiate a higher commission structure. Whatever you need to do that, go for it. I have paid for my own leads before. I have paid for no sales before. I've negotiated higher commissions at pretty much every offer that I've gone to. I found ways to build incentive plans that nobody else gets access to, whether it be a certain number of sales, conversion rates, DPL, whether it be self-generated leads, right? Referrals, everything. You can get extra commissions. There's so many different ways in order to just pump up the numbers to where, you know, I would be making anywhere from 15 to 25, sometimes even 30% commissions on offers that I was on because I had the skill set to not only come in and negotiate in that way, but I also had the track record and the reputation and the demeanor in order to actually get that and come in with a certain frame on the call. I'm a good hang. I'm a great employee. You don't have to fucking worry about anything that I'm doing. I'm going to be completely compliant. I'm never going to lie. I'm going to be completely honest to prospects. I'm going to do everything according to the processes that the business has, as long as it is also advantageous for me to do that and it's not, you know, deprecative in any way. All that to say, commission structure. So in the pillar of the offer, you need to have these 4 things, right? Number 1 is offer price. Sometimes the higher the better, sometimes not as much. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like, this is the most expensive thing that I've ever seen sold in high ticket in my life. 1 being, this is the cheapest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Next one then is the marketing, right? Check out the marketing. Is it actually warming up the leads? How nurtured are they? How much information do they have before the call? Are you spending your call explaining who we are and what we do? Or are you spending the call asking them questions and finding out that they're already very problem aware, very solution aware, and they know this is exactly what they want? So again, scale of 1 to 10, rate it. After that, then you got management. Are they one of those two? Either completely leave you alone or push you to your goal, or are they somewhere in the middle? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the best, 1 is the worst. And last but not least is the commission structure, right? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now, once you have all of those things, you have 4 scores of a scale of 1 to 10. You simply add those up and that becomes your offer score. All right, so a perfect score would be 40 for an offer. Next, from there, you've got your sales process. All right, your sales process. This is going to be worth another 40 points in total. So there's going to be a couple of things we need to go through with the sales process. Number 1 is how the leads are actually handed off to you. So when we're talking about sales process, I'm going to back up for a second and make sure that this is very clear. Sales process is how you actually move people through the pipeline from front to back. So if you're coming into an offer, let's say, and they don't give you a ton of inbound booked appointments, then you're going to need to include outbounding in your strategy for how to get them through the sales process. But if they completely have all of the inbound appointments that you need, triple, quadruple booking you on each appointment, then you're fine. You're not really going to need to outbound a ton except for referrals and no sales and no shows, all that kind of good stuff, right? So make sure that you understand the process that the company has in place right then. And you're going to want to look at some of the conversion mechanisms to see how people actually move through it and the averages across the team. If anything seems sus, then you're probably going to want to change a couple of things or tweak some things, or maybe it's just something on the skill set side that the rest of the team just sucks at, right? So process number 1 is how the lead actually gets to your front door. You need to understand that. Again, the warmer, the better. Now, warm does not mean that you don't have to outbound. I can't tell you how many times I've been on an offer where I've outbounded to the leads and they are like so ready to buy in outbounding. It's just that nobody fucking calls them, right? Because the marketing is just that dialed in. But I've also been on offers where you can outbound and set your own appointment, etc. And like even the inbound appointments that come to your calendar are just complete dog shit, and they don't know who you are, what you do, or anything. They come to the call, they're like, what's this about again? Like, down, terrible. That's a 1 out of 10. I don't want that at all. So figure out how the leads are generated, how they're actually handed off to you. That's number one in the sales process. Again, give it a score of 1 to 10. After that, you need to make sure that once you actually have the lead, that the process is very, very clear. All right. There cannot be a bunch of ambiguity around how to move somebody from call number 1 to the close. If it is confusing, if there's a lot of different issues and compliance steps and all sorts of stuff like that, then you're going to have an issue getting to 100 grand a month. Because when you're doing 100 grand a month, I can't tell you how important this is. You're doing 60, 90, sometimes over 100 units of sales in a month. That is a lot of deals. That is a lot of volume. And if you're doing 100 deals in a month, let's just say you do 90 deals in a month. For easy math, that's 3 deals a day. All right, you're closing 3 deals every single day, working 7 days a week. If you're doing less than that, it's going to be 12, 18 days, 5 deals a day, something like that. I don't know. I'm not that good at math. But anyway, I use Google Sheets. So it's a lot of deals. So it needs to be simple. There's that saying in business that says simplicity scales and complexity fails. So the simpler the process, the better. I don't need to have a 17-step process for getting on a call with somebody and then sending them documents and then, all that sort of stuff. I don't want to deal with that. I want to get on the call, talk to people, collect payment, and then the rest is history. So sales process, if you're really going for 100 grand a month, it needs to be as simple as human fucking possible. Now, if an offer doesn't have what you need for this, then you need to build your own system for it. This is why I had multiple assistants when I was closing the most that I ever closed, because I just wanted to be on calls. I didn't want to be confirming calls. I didn't want to be following up with calls. I didn't want to be hitting up my no-shows and the cancellations, the reschedules, getting them back on my calendar. I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to be on a call at all times, talking to somebody who wanted to give us new money. That's it, right? If an offer doesn't provide that for you, then you need to provide it for yourself. You are a business, right? You are your own business. You're a contractor. You are providing a service to this business owner that you're working with. So provide a good ass service and make yourself more money in the process. Simple enough, right? It requires a little bit of an investment, but if you need an assistant, just let me know. I've got the plug for you and I can get you hooked up. So that's number 2. Number 3 after this. So we've talked about how the lead is generated and handed off to you. Then we've talked about the simplicity of the process of getting them from point A to point Z. Now the third part of your process needs to be how you actually handle your post-call structure, all right? Most people, after they have their first call, they don't have a process. Shocking. For follow-ups, for referrals, for no sales. I swear, after the call has been done, your job is easier than ever because they've already been pitched. They already know who you are. They already know what you do. They already know how you can help them. They already know the gap between where they want to be. They already know their limiting beliefs. They already know their objections. They already know literally everything that needs to be done in order to close the goddamn deal. Just for whatever reason, either it didn't happen or it did. And so if it didn't happen, fucking call them. I can't tell you how easy it is. Sometimes I'll just call somebody the next day after I lost the deal, marked the deal as lost. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Just wanted to touch base with you. How are you feeling? And they just tell me that they want to buy. Christian, actually, you were right on that call. I need to do this. Let's go. I'm like, all right, fantastic. Let's do it. And another close, like another grand in your pocket, another $2,000 in your pocket. Why the hell not? Then if you did close the deal, those are even simpler, right? You just call them and say, hey, bitch, it's referral time. Who you got? That's like, obviously, you don't exactly say that. We ask for a certain number of referrals and connect us. So what do you feel would be best, et cetera. There's like a whole process that I go through inside the Sales Dojo. So like if you're not in there, make sure that you're in there if you really want to hit 100 grand a month. Now, after that, there's so many different, just the overall concept of this, I think most people underestimate. Not only your leads are available for this, but other people's leads are available for this as well. The other closers on your team who don't follow up with their deals, who don't call their closed deals and ask for referrals, absolutely fair game. And I will put my neck on the line for you for this, to go and talk to your manager and ask your manager if it's okay for you to go and make the company more money with leads that are just sitting there, not being touched by anybody. I guarantee you every manager is like, hell yeah, of course, fucking love the initiative. Go for it. What's your plan? And then you just tell them, hey, I'm going to call all of the closed deals by the other closers because they're not calling them, and I'm going to get referrals from them. That way there's zero extra marketing spend for the business, and we're getting in extra cash that we wouldn't have gotten in otherwise. So it's literally free money for the business. Now, if it is free money, understand that there's a marketing cost to the other leads that is not present for these leads. And so therefore, I want to make some of that extra money. I don't want to take all of it from the business because I just want to help. I want to help the owner. I want to help you, etc. Like, dress it up a little bit. But it's about being of service to the business while also being strategic and realizing that you're making them money from nothing. So you should get like half of the marketing spend, which might be an extra 2.5% in commissions. It might be an extra 5% in commissions. It might just be a couple extra $100. I don't know, but work that out with them. But you can probably get a bump from just asking for referrals. So that's number 3, is the post-sale process. Last but not least is going to be all of your admin. All right. When it comes to the sales process, you're going to have some admin in order to update notes, in order to move things through the pipeline, in order to keep the CRM up to date, in order to submit call recordings, do your end of days, all that sort of stuff. And more often than not, it's just a complete waste of time for you because you can 100% offload it. If your company doesn't have the system already set up for you to offload it, same bit of advice that I'm going to give you from earlier, which is go ahead and just get an assistant and offload it yourself. Create the system yourself. It's seriously not that difficult. Just build in a prompt. Ask ChatGPT to build a prompt for you to analyze your call recording transcript and analyze it for this data. And then you get all of that data. You have your assistant just pop it through ChatGPT. They don't even have to watch the call. And then they'll do your end of days for you. Like, it's super duper simple, not that complicated. So 4 bits in sales process are, again, how the lead was generated and how it was handed to you. Number 2 is going to be, your commission structure. And then I've just kind of been riffing on this if you can't tell. Number 2 is your commission structure. Number 3 is then the post-sale process. And then number 4 is your admin. All right, make sure that all of this is good and you'll be all set. Now, last but not least is the skill set. Again, all 4 of those categories for sales process, rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, and you'll come up with an aggregate score. Maximum score is 40, lowest possible score is 4. And so then from there, you'll now have the next 40 points inside of the grading system. So 40 points from the offer, 40 points from the process, and now the remaining 20 points in order to get to 100% is your sales skill sets. All right, there's a couple of things in here that I want to cover. Number 1 is your cold skill sets. So how good are you at actually selling what it is that you do? If you're talking to somebody who doesn't understand who you are, what you do, how it works, because like either they didn't go through all the marketing, they didn't go through the pre-call resources, they're not that interested in the first place, blah, blah, blah. Like, how good are you at actually talking to that person and getting them warmed up? The basic closers who are making 10, 20, 30, 40K a month, I guarantee you they're shit at this. And that's why they make that little money, because they think, oh, I want to have leverage. And so I'm just not going to talk to the people that are colder. But then meanwhile, they have 3, 4, 5 hours a day where they're not on calls with somebody and they're shocked that they're not making more money. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me if you can't tell. So how good are you at talking to cold prospects? Again, scale of 1 to 10. Next from there is how good are you at talking to warm prospects? Scale of 1 to 10. Very, very simple. All right. This is just a holistic view. How good is your conversion rate? Are you converting 10 out of 10? Are you converting 3 out of 10? What is your actual conversion rate of people who are warm, who are qualified? All right. With both of these, cold qualified prospects and warm qualified prospects. Very, very simple. Number 3 from there is the depth of your calls. All right. I can't tell you enough. The way that I've kind of codified this is if you think of a graph, right? We want to gauge inside of a sales call how successful a prospect is going to be inside of whatever it is that we're doing. That's the point of a sales call. That's the point of a discovery. It is not to convince the person. It's not to persuade them. Like, sure, that's what the industry is called, but forget all of that because it's bullshit and it completely rewires your head in a terrible way. So we are just here to have a natural conversation. But in that conversation, I want to gauge how successful the prospect is going to be inside the program. And so if we can figure that out, then we'll be good. Now, how do you gauge how successful somebody's going to be in the program is having generally a fairly deep conversation about their history of success, about what they're looking for, about what they need help with, how well they show up, how disciplined are they, how consistent are they, what sort of limiting beliefs they have, all that kind of good stuff. And here's the graph, right? As the depth of the sales call goes up, so does the probability of your understanding how successful they'll be inside the program, all right? The probability of understanding how successful they will be inside the program. If we go very surface level, let's just say, like, as a complete extreme example, I hop on a call with somebody and I'm like, hey, the price is this, do you want it? And they say yes. They could be very successful in the program and they could completely fail inside of the program. Whether it's done for you, whether it's done with you, I don't care, right? There's different characteristics of people that will be successful in done with you programs versus done for you. So make sure that you know the difference. Again, if you don't know that, just hop in the Sales Dojo. I can explain it to you anytime on one of the live calls. But when we're thinking about this now, if you go deep inside of discovery, inside of the call, et cetera, and you understand somebody's limiting beliefs, you understand where they've been inconsistent in their life, you understand how important this problem is to them and how important achieving the solution, their dreams, et cetera, is to them, then you have more of an understanding in order to create this internal understanding of how successful they will be inside of the program. Because we all know that somebody who has a very strong why, somebody who has a very strong reason to do this, somebody who has a very strong dream, somebody who has a very strong problem that they're trying to get away from, right? Somebody who has a very high level of urgency. People who act that way, who live that way, who view their life that way are going to be more successful, right? It's just basic success principles of life in general. Not sales, not of the program, just of life. And so if we go deep, then we can understand what level of probability of success they'll have inside the program, all right? So that's the point of going deep. So how deep do you go is number 3. Last but not least on sales skills is going to be the back portion of your call, okay? So if you want to think of depth, that's kind of the front portion of your call with the discovery, the emotions, consequence, all that sort of good stuff. And then the back portion of your call is the pitch, the close, and potentially objection handling. How good are you at that? How successfully can you pitch somebody? I'm not talking about like a basic ass 3 pillars pitch, like actually pitching the goddamn product. Like, I don't know how, especially the high ticket space, but everywhere, software, tech, insurance, I coach them all. I actually sell those things as well. And I can't tell you how many times I come across a salesperson who can't fucking pitch. It's so funny because like the troll on LinkedIn, on ChatGPT, if you ask about sales, is like pitching too early, etc. But everybody that pitches fucking sucks. I swear, 99.9 out of 100 sucks. I think it's been maybe one person in the past year that I've seen that's actually good at pitching. Learn how to pitch, learn how to build excitement, learn how to motivate somebody, learn how to inspire them, learn how to explain features, benefits, etc. in a way that actually ties into what somebody needs, yes, but is also fucking exciting, all right? Simple. It's really not that complicated, but people usually are just fucking lazy, or they're trying to be, status games and trying to, this is boring. No, fuck that. Be excited, be passionate about what you do, and get good at pitching. Learn copywriting, learn wordsmithing, learn how to use transformational vocabulary and metaphors and analogies. I swear, I'm going to stop now because I'm just going to go off the rails. So pitching, the close, I think most people these days are pretty good at just fucking ask the question and shut the hell up. It's not that complicated. And then objection handling, I'm not even going to get started on that one. All these fucking Miami balcony bros with their NLP lines that they don't fucking understand because they've never read an NLP book. They've never studied from an NLP master. They've never actually gone and done the thing. They're just business owners now who are teaching sales reps online. Like, don't even get me started. Anyway, the back half of the call, right? Pitch, close, objection handling, scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at it? So now you have 4 things inside of this last bit, right? Which is sales skills. So really it's not a scale of 1 to 10, it's a scale of 1 to 5 for each of these, all right? Because we have 20 points allotted, so each one needs to be 5 points, right? I'm not that good at math, but I'm at least that good. So after this, you should have an aggregate score for how you're doing throughout the process and how likely you are to hit 100 grand a month. Now, when you go through this, just basic strategic executive strategy creation is look at the lowest hanging fruit and solve that first. If it's in the offer, fix that. If it's in the sales process, fix that. If it's in your sales skills, fix that. But go for the lowest hanging fruit and you will raise the floor of the amount of money that you're earning, which will automatically give you more potential to go higher as you continue to raise that floor. So if this was helpful, drop a comment down below with any sort of questions that you might have off the back of this, or just letting me know so that I can create more videos like this. Ultimately, my goal is just to give you the most value and help you go and hit 100 grand a month in commissions like I did, because Lord knows sales completely changed my life. And I know that it can change yours too if you simply learn to master the craft. So as always, my friends, pleasure today, and I will see you on the outside.